Tom Marshall clutched his stomach as if he could absorb his son's pain. In a small two-room rental on the edge of town, he stared at the empty pantry and then at his 7-year-old, Eli, who sat cross-legged on the floor, playing with a broken toy truck. Tom was a construction worker, or at least he used to be before the site he worked on shut down. His wife had died 3 years ago in a car crash, leaving him alone to raise their son. Since then, he'd been clawing through every odd job he could find, cleaning gutters, moving furniture, painting walls, anything to keep them from sleeping in their car. But lately, jobs had dried up, and money had run out. This morning, he'd begged the manager at the local diner for work. The manager shook his head, handed him a leftover sandwich, and wished him luck. Tom knew luck wouldn't pay rent. He drove out of town, hoping to find some kind of work in the countryside, anywhere that might trade labor for food. That's when he saw her, struggling with a wheelbarrow half sunk in a muddy field. She was knee-deep in water, surrounded by rows of drowned crops. A petite woman with wild curls tucked into a fraying cap, her jeans soaked, her hands blistered. Tom parked his rusting pickup and walked toward her. "Need a hand?" he asked. She looked up, startled. "You don't even know what's going on here." "I don't need to," he replied. "But I've got strong arms and no pride left." She stared at him for a moment, measuring him. Then she nodded. Her name was June, a farmer, alone like him. Her farmland had flooded 2 days ago after unexpected rains broke the old irrigation dam. Half her crops were destroyed, and the help she'd hired never showed. Tom got to work, wading into water, hauling sacks of feed, digging trenches to divert water. They worked until sunset, barely speaking, just exchanging glances and nods, united by shared exhaustion. When Tom turned to leave, she called out, "Come back tomorrow." He nodded. Over the next 2 weeks, Tom returned every day with Eli in tow. June would pack an extra sandwich for the boy and let him play with her dog under the oak tree near the barn. Eli started to smile more, laugh even. Tom noticed his son hadn't done that in months. Tom and June worked side by side, day after day. She shared stories of her childhood, how her grandfather had raised her on this very land. She spoke of resilience, of roots and patience, of weathering every storm nature could throw at you. Tom listened quietly, but inside, something softened. One day, while fixing a broken fence, he asked her, "Why didn't you sell this place? After the flood, after the damage, most people would have given up." She looked at him with steady eyes. "Because it's not just land. It's history, it's family, and some things are worth fighting for." Tom nodded, thinking of Eli. Later that week, June invited them to stay for dinner. They sat on the porch, eating stew, watching fireflies light up the horizon. It felt almost like home. That night, as they cleaned up, she casually mentioned needing someone full-time. "You mean, me?" Tom asked, stunned. She shrugged. "You've done more in 2 weeks than anyone else in a year. You're honest. You show up. That matters more than a resume." "But I can't accept charity." "It's not charity," she said firmly. "It's a job. A real one, with a paycheck." Tom stared at her. He wanted to believe it. He wanted to trust again. Slowly, he nodded. Weeks turned into months. The crops recovered. June taught Tom the art of farming, reading the sky, the soil, the language of plants. Tom taught Eli how to ride a bike on the dirt roads between the fields. One evening, June told Tom she'd be gone for the weekend. "A state meeting," she muttered, avoiding his eyes. He was confused. "A state," she sighed. "I've never told you who I really am, have I?" She explained that her grandfather had owned Hollow Ridge Estate, the largest property in the county, thousands of acres, part vineyard, part farmland. She'd inherited it after his death but had chosen to live on the neglected farmland at its edge, away from the noise, away from the politics. "I wanted to earn something on my own," she said. "To make it grow with my own hands. To find people who saw value in work, not titles." Tom stood there, speechless. "You thought I was just a broke farmer, didn't you?" She teased gently. "I did," he admitted, "but I never cared." She smiled. "Good," she said, "because what I need most is someone real. Not someone chasing my name." The following spring, Tom stood at the front porch of a newly painted farmhouse. His name was now on the payroll, and soon, with June's help, on the deed to a small parcel of land for him and Eli. For the first time in years, he wasn't just surviving, he was building something. Tom and June didn't rush anything. But the unspoken bond between them grew deeper with every sunrise over golden fields. At the annual county fair, Tom stood beside June as she was honored for her estate's revival. Eli clung to his leg, and the crowd clapped, unaware of the quiet man behind her who had helped her through a flood, not just of water, but of loneliness. And as Tom looked over the fields, lush, green, full of life, he realized he hadn't just found a job or a home. He'd found hope. Moral of the story: sometimes, the people who appear to have the least are the richest in heart. True wealth isn't always in money or land, but in kindness, grit, and the courage to stand by someone when they need you most.